aloha there, and let's finish up confectionery. We're all the way down through the cultural roles onwards. So, cult roles of confectionery, desserts, pastries, custards, all that jazz, is that there's just so many. I still gotta wrap my head, just the confectioneries can just be another term for desserts. But old traditional timing desserts, not really new ones. Or, pretty much thinking about like new styles of cakes, like the decorative kinds where they have more ingredients, healthier ingredients, not traditional ingredients that has a lot of, well, I keep on thinking of meats, but really traditional food that has a lot of meats, lots of salts, lots of spices, rather something different, more fruity and stuff. Since, let's say, a dessert wouldn't have much fruit back then because fruits were much of a thing you don't see around compared to nowadays where you could just go to a simple grocery store and get fruit versus back when you were a rich man, like not in the 1800s but like 1600s, where you really can't get it anywhere else. And in the 1800s some people usually don't. I mean, ain't that the history of bananas, where a lot of people really didn't eat bananas quite regularly till around like the 1900s. So yeah. So cultural roles. Both bakers and sugar confections are used to offer hospitality to guests. Confections are used to mark celebrations or events such as a wedding cake, birthday cake, or Halloween. The chocolate company Cadbury, under the guidance of Richard Cadbury, was the first to commercialize the connection between romance and confectionery, producing a heart-shaped box of chocolates for Valentine's Day in 1668. Now that's the weird thing between romance and confectionery. Like, it is just a set, like a set of time, like a set of a moment, like an experience, like an event that people are in a confectionery event so they could eat a bunch of desserts. So strange. But I guess maybe that goes with how people used to eat food in particular ways. Like how eating food for lunch and dinner consists of eating, what is it? A salad, then to your side dish, then to your main dish, and all that, versus what now is just any which way. Everybody has different diets and they can easily get food anywhere they want. And it creates other things like more people eating brunch, or was it Dutch? The time between dinner and lunch, because brunch will be breakfast and lunch, henceforth the names. But if that's the case, wouldn't it be like burner for dinner and breakfast? Maybe in the future, if a lot of people can't go outside because of it being too hot in the daytime, and they just end up just hanging out as night owls at night, cruising around. Tourists commonly eat confections as part of their travels. The indulgence in rich, sugary foods is seen as a special treat, and choosing local specialties is popular. For example, visitors to Vienna eat sarchatorti, and visitors to seaside resorts in the UK eat Blackpool rock candy. Transportable confections like fudges and tablet may be purchased as souvenirs. Tablet. Okay, it's a medium hard rock. Okay, so it actually has its own page. It's just tablet in general. But yeah, Vienna eat sarchatorti. Okay, it's a type of cake, and Blackpool rock. What the hell? This looks like crayons. Rock is a type of hard stick-shaped boiled sugar confectionery, usually flavored by peppermint and spearmint. Now, we're on to nutrition. Generally, confections are low in micronutrients and protein but high in calories. They may be fat-free foods, although some confections, especially fried doughs and chocolate, are high-fat foods. Many confections are considered empty calories and ultra processed foods. Specifically formulated chocolate had been manufactured in the past for military use as a high dense food energy source, and also as a drug. You know, pretty much you have the Venomog using cocaine type of chocolates, and then the U.S. Marines using tablets if they commercially get them. Many sugar confections, especially caramel coated popcorn and different kinds of sugar candy, are defined in U.S. laws as foods of minimal nutritional value. Yeah, pretty much. But caramel coated popcorn, so it by itself is just minimal nutritional value. Because the argument with popcorn with no butter, salt, just plain no popcorn is just good. It's a good snack. So caramel popcorn, so that would be considered confectionery. So type of dessert. It is a confection made of popcorn coated with sugar or molasses based caramel candy shell that is normally less. Let me hit back. Less than 1 millimeter thick. All right. Now there's risks. Contaminants and coloring agents in confectionery can be particularly harmful to children. Therefore, confectionery condiments such as high levels of lead have been restricted to 1 ppm in the US. There's no specific maximum in the EU. Candy colorants, particular yellow colorants such as E102, tartrazine, E104, quinoline, yellow WS, and E110, sunset yellow FCF have many restrictions around the world. Tartrazine, for example, can cause allergic and asthmatic reactions and was once banned in Austria, Germany, and Norway. Some countries, such as the UK, have asked the food industry to phase out the use of these colorants, especially for products marketed to children. So, yeah, condiments and coloring agents in confectionery can be particularly harmful to children. Yeah, but I'm not trying to do an Atlantic accent. I am sticking with my weird ass Atlantic modern type of nasally accent that I am not sure how to mimic. Now we are done here, and see also the candy making confectionery store, list of candies and stuff. I'm gonna browse through here because, oh shoot, man, it seems like using this computer with all its other tabs and stuff, it's quite annoying. Well, hopefully. All the info here is not too much of a detriment when it comes to... What is it? Still using this? I don't know. The only thing I know is that there's a lot of things, well, roaming around. This window is quite telling of who the owner could be. Especially when using it. So confectionery is the art of making confections, which are food items that are rich in sugar and carbohydrates. Yeah, exact definitions are difficult in general. However, confectionery is divided into two broad and somewhat overlapping categories: baker's confection and sugar confections. The occupation of confectionery encompasses the category cooking performed by both French pastryser and sugar. Now, that's the thing. I'm still confused, but even it says the definition can be unclear. So, a pastry chef, alrighty, make it a confection or dessert. And a I'm already here. And a Sugar worker. Baker's confectioner, also called flour confections. Yes. Sweet pastries, cakes, similar baked goods. So, alright, let's go with this. Other than desserts, where it could be something specific, let's actually look at wiki desserts. Wow, why did it? Why the hell? Oh crap, it actually autocorrect. There we go. I think. Dessert is a course that includes a meal. The course consists of sweet foods such as confections, and possible a beverage such as dessert, wine, and liquor. Yeah, it's supposed to be liquor, but it's spelled like I believe in the British way. But as you can see, dessert is actually a dish. It's not the food itself, because the food itself could be a confection, could be another easy term, which is sweet food. Because a person does not simply eat a meal, just a dessert. They have to have the whole course, and they can't eat it as a snack. So it's just people eating confections, dessert types of foods. But the actual definition is that dessert is just a type of course in a meal, where you pretty much eat a confection as a dessert after lunch, dinner, and so on, like that. But that's not how people think about it. They would think that desserts are just, well, a type of food you just eat. And I believe it has to go with marketing, people just like being so picky when it comes to words, and it being just such a broad definition. Because people can understand that certain sweets are so sweet that people just don't simply eat it by itself compared to like bread types of foods that have a lot of carbohydrates. So, that could be the reason why. There's that. But yeah, looking through this, there's a lot of history here compared to confections, and it's just describing a course of dish, but just because of how much people just put into it. Same picture as here as confectionaries, some Indian confectionery desserts. And then, yeah, onwards to all types. The ingredients, the different cultures people eat it, types, cakes, puddings, and confection has its own thing. Like confection, also called candy, sweets, or lollies, features sugar or honey as a principal ingredient. Now it goes to the ingredients like the confection every page keeps on talking about. So with all this said, it's a confusing topic that when you go to the nitty gritty, it can be difficult to understand. But just know this, that what I am saying now is that when I refer to desserts, it will be confectionery types of foods that you can eat by yourself as a sweet, good food. I'm still going to call it desserts because that's something everybody just says. And showing that just Wikipedia article of a course for dessert types of foods is more than confectionery for foods themselves does show that a large brand of people look at this like that. But yeah, I want to actually go with this because this wiki is one that I'm going to go through, not now, but in the future. Because looking through India, I take it that I can see some common things because of how learning about Gujarat foods can be very different. Yet the same, like jamun being a very common Asian type of dessert, confectionery, that so many places have it, and I always wonder why is it in the page in the first place. So I take it that the more I learn, I see some common sweets everybody has. I could just go to this wiki after learning so much about India, like foods, stuff, that I could go and see like, oh, that's not just the culinary thing, that's in the Pacific region. That's like everywhere, a lot of regions and stuff. But that said, that's pretty much it for it. I left off with confectionery store where I just want to quickly browse through it because these stores have existed, but a lot more outside of the US where I reside compared to other places where there's just a sweet candy store and stuff. And that's pretty much it. They're starting to become more of them common, but just because of how a lot of food places are starting to be a thing a lot of people go to. Now, people like to eat out and like to go to specialized spaces. Now, you have candy stores, especially for kids that like to brush their teeth. But anywho, that is pretty much it. I get to see what I'll talk about next. So, anywho, aloha.